Marisha was pleased that Awidze was doing exactly what she wanted, swiftly and expertly working through her project, leaving her confident it would be finished well before the deadline. Her eyes were locked on the screen. The soft hum of the room seemed to echo in the background, a rhythm she was beginning to rely on. With 30 minutes to go, she sent a text to her boss.
Hello boss, I will finish the project in 30 minutes. Awidze is doing a fantastic job here.
It had been a struggle to make any progress on the project for weeks, but once it was in Awidze's hands, she knew it would be in good care, finished on time and with attention to detail. It was Awidze's speech a month ago that had drawn her in.
The Awidze Story office is here in Tembisa. It caters for everyone, young and old, literate and illiterate, living or dead, able-bodied or physically challenged, rich or poor. Let's work together.
Everything seemed to be falling into place. Once the project was done, it would be one less thing on her to-do list, a small victory in a week that felt like a whirlwind. The office remained eerily calm, the fluorescent lights humming softly above. Marisha's role was to oversee the final stages of the project, guiding Awidze on what to type, what to cut, how to arrange the document structure. Everything felt under control until the door burst open. Nampi Melolo entered, her face alight with excitement, her eyes glowing.
Wabona namhlanje ngijabulile kakhulu.
I'm so happy today.
Awidze froze, the cursor on the screen blinking in the silence. He looked up, unsure of whether Nampi Melolo was about to share a good news story or drop a bombshell. Was it a loan approval? A confession? A breakthrough on her RDP housing application? Her joy was contagious but also mysterious. Before Awidze could speak, Nampi Melolo handed him her phone with a clear, urgent request.
Please delete this message. I don't want to see it again. I will be back soon.
Her smile was disarming, almost playful, but the request was strange, too urgent for something trivial. With one last quick glance over her shoulder, she left the room, leaving both Marisha and Awidze exchanging confused glances. Marisha narrowed her eyes. That was definitely not part of the plan.
Deleting a message? That's 5 seconds, no problem.
She muttered, though her tone suggested something felt off. She had learned to expect the unexpected in Tembisa, especially from someone like Nampi Melolo, who had a unique ability to stir chaos with no effort. Awidze, still holding the phone, raised an eyebrow. The request was simple, yet something about the way it was delivered made him hesitate. Why had Nampi Melolo singled out one message? And why couldn't she delete it herself? Zushe, who had been lounging outside, sensing trouble, entered the room. His eyes quickly flicked to the phone which was in Awidze's hands.
Awidze, why is Nampi Melolo trusting you with her phone like that? What if her jealous boyfriend calls?
Awidze shrugged nonchalantly.
She trusts me, maybe more than I trust her. What's the harm? If something goes wrong with it, she will still bring the phone to me.
Zushe scoffed and left, clearly amused but not pressing the issue. Awidze skimmed through the messages on Nampi Melolo's phone. They were mostly work-related, complaints about service delivery, messages concerning the recent VAT hike that had dominated the news, and a few about money she owed. Nothing immediately alarming, yet the urgency in her request to delete a single message lingered. Awidze handed the phone to Marisha.
Look, there are a lot of messages here. Which one should I delete? She's your fellow woman, maybe you can suggest something.
Marisha barely glanced at the screen before handing it back. She had no interest in Nampi Melolo's drama.
Had it been she said, delete the first message, fine, that would make sense. But the way she said it, it's just a ploy to cause confusion. Don't waste your time.
Awidze nodded but didn't entirely agree. Marisha was right about one thing. Time was ticking. He glanced at the clock, the pressure mounting. The deadline for her project was close, and he could feel the weight of it.
Awidze, I came first.
Marisha snapped, tapping her wristwatch impatiently.
You should help me finish my project.
Awidze bristled, irritated by her tone. If Marisha had been on time, the project would have been finished days ago. But deadlines were part of his job, and he was determined to stay focused.
One step at a time. Let me finish your work first. We'll deal with Nompumelolo's issue when she comes back.
Marisha huffed, still fidgeting with her papers. Awidze returned his attention to the screen, trying to ignore the distractions. The office returned to its rhythm, the clack of the keyboard, the occasional tap of a pen, the rustling of paper as Marisha reviewed each page. Zushe re-entered, his posture more relaxed this time.
Good. Marita was worried and now she's gone. I see it is because you are busy with her project.
Awidze did not respond. Zushe nodded, satisfied, and left again. Not long after, Nompumelolo returned. Her presence seemed to stir the air, filling the room with energy. She immediately scanned the desk, her eyes locking onto her phone.
Did you delete the message, Awidze?
Her voice was filled with expectation. Awidze kept his focus on the papers, unwilling to meet her gaze. Nompumelolo's eyes narrowed.
When I see my phone on the desk, it means it's done. You are just waiting to hand it back to me.
Awidze slid a stapler across the desk, making no other movement. His silence seemed like a refusal. Nompumelolo's frustration grew, her patience thinning.
When I see my phone like this, it means all my troubles are over.
She continued.
Just tell me you have deleted it. Simple and straightforward.
Still, Awidze remained silent, his focus on the task at hand. He could not afford to be distracted, not that time, not with Marisha's project still unfinished. Zushe, sensing the growing tension, stepped back in with a grin.
Awidze, I am your third client and I have composed a poem.
Zushe said, laughing hard.
It is titled Ankadzi Wandani. I want you to help me turn this poem into a song. Let me read it now.
He pulled a crumpled paper from his pocket and began reading.
Who knew that Awidze would open a mini office in Tembisa? Who knew that he would be stuck between two worlds, unsure who to serve first? Who knew that two clients, Marita and Nompumelolo's projects would overlap? Who knew that Awidze would open this type of office here?
Zushe slipped the paper back into his pocket, laughing uncontrollably.
Wait, I will answer you, Zuki.
Awidze said, pointing skyward with a dramatic sigh.
Dimulungu yekha basi wa mwamba.
It is only God the Heavenly Father.
Zushe shook his head, amused, as he left the office. Nompumelolo was visibly frustrated, her patience nearing its end.
Why do you keep me waiting, Awidze?
She demanded.
I can't stand here like this. Instead of responding to me, you are responding to Zuki. What's wrong with you?
Awidze ignored her, his focus on the papers. The tension in the room was palpable, a knot tightening in his chest. He had to finish his current task before he could even think about the next one. Marita, growing frustrated, cut through the silence.
We shouldn't beat around the bush, Awidze. You know what to do, but I will tell Nompumelolo the truth.
She turned to Nompumelolo.
It's simple. Anyone can delete the message, even that drunkard passing outside can do it in 5 seconds.
She pointed out the window. Nompumelolo flinched, the sting of Marita's words landing hard. Her face flushed, frustration bubbling over.
Is this how it's going to be, Awidze? If you don't want to do it, just tell me. I have neighbors who can help.
Numpumelelo said. Marita saw an opening.
I can help you delete the message.
She said coolly.
We can step outside while Awidze finishes my project. He's busy, as you can see. You are not the only one who needs attention.
But Numpumelelo shook her head.
No, I don't want anyone touching my phone but only Awidze.
Awidze hesitated, the weight of his responsibilities pressing down. The message on Numpumelo's phone had grown far more complicated than just pressing a delete. He shuffled the papers and looked more confused than before.
You must know that Awidze told us that everything must go through him. He's going to make a determination.
Numpumelelo said.
If there was nothing to work on, he would have ignored me from the start. But the way he is doing it means there is something tangible we have to see or feel. He told us that his office is open 24 hours, so I am operating according to how he works.
Awidze finally picked up the phone.
Let me be clear, Numpumelelo.
He said, leaning back in his chair.
I didn't expect things to escalate like this. All messages are important to me. I can spend the whole day explaining why some messages cannot just be deleted, but I will need you to be precise. Which message should I delete?
Message number 5 from the top.
Numpumelelo snapped. Awidze requested her to return after a few minutes. There were more pressing issues to address before he could attend to the message. Numpumelelo agreed, leaving the office in a huff. With the decision made, Awidze set the phone aside for a moment, reviewing Marita's project once again. She hovered nearby, pointing out minor edits, pushing for perfection before her meeting with the boss. Marita reluctantly filled out a feedback form for Awidze, barely glancing at the questions.
Good, good, good.
She said while answering each question and tossed the form into the box before heading out the door. Awidze watched the door click shut behind her. Numpumelo's phone sat untouched on the desk. Mission 1, Marita's project, completed. What remained was message number 5 and whatever issues that were there.
Dimulungu yeka basi wa mwamba mwamba. Dimulungu yeka basi wa mwamba mwamba.